Hi, you're listening to the Rav Dessler Giving Podcast with me, Avram Ziedman. Join us as we weave together philosophy, psychology, and Kabbalah to uncover a new depth to what it means to being a giver. In the last podcast, we saw that giving causes love, and we see this from the Hebrew word ahava, ahav, an individual, aleph, hey, giving, base, bet, to a second person. Giving to another causes the emotion of love. This podcast, I want to go deeper and ask, why? Why should it be that when I give, giving causes love? And to be able to answer this question, we have to go really deep. And we have to go so deep and so fundamental to ask, who am I? You know, when we die, the Kabbalists tell us that we go upstairs, so to speak, and we're asked a bunch of questions. But the first question we're asked is who are you? What's your name? Now, the question there, what's your name, is not just, here's my label. My name's Avram Ziedman. Ching! You get yourself 1 point. Now let's get to the hard questions. That in itself is a deep, fundamental question. So let's play it out now. It's good to be able to have a practice round before we get to the end game. When I ask, who are you? What's the answer? Who are you? So, since I can't speak to you right now because this is a podcast, I'm going to play both sides. Okay, I'm Avram Ziedman. Nope. That's your title. Who are you? Oh, sorry, right. I'm a guy. No. You're not a guy, says God. I created you, male. Who are you? Oh, right. Okay, so I have the personality traits of... Whoa, stop. I gave you a personality. Who are you? Ha. Oh, right. I know. I'm a soul. Yeah, very nice. Everyone here is a soul. What makes you different to anyone else? Who are you? I'm my achievements, really. You only achieved what you achieved because I created all the resources, including the brain power, for you to achieve that. Who are you? What can I truly say is me as opposed to gifts given to help me on my mission? What can I say is me and no one else? Maybe pause and have a think. I'm sure you didn't pause. But anyway, let's get to the answer. If you really think about it, the only thing which I can truly say is me and only me is my efforts. Where I have a moral battle, where it was placed, that could be based on nature and nurture. But at the point when I have a free will battle, I'm alone and I choose. It is the effort that I put, either investing in body or soul, that I can say is me and no one else. In short, I am my efforts. Which means even the physical body that I have, that's not truly me. That's a gift given to me to help me on my mission. The one thing that's me is my efforts. Okay, hold that idea. The verse, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself. Why is it that I have to love my neighbor as myself? Why can't I just love my neighbor? Why do I have to love myself in order to love someone else? So hold that idea as well. Let me go on to an entirely separate point and we'll connect all three ideas together. I want to look at a technical law within the halacha of Hashavas Aveda, returning lost property. Imagine that you have apples from your apple tree and your intention was to eat those apples. However, I see this box of apples that you've left behind and I have no idea how long you've gone away for. Maybe you've gone away for a day, a week, a month, a year. I have no idea. Imagine today each apple is worth £1. Tomorrow they're going to get a little bit more moldy and they're worth 90p, 80, 70, 60, 40, 30, 20. Every day goes down until it's worth nothing. When I have these apples, should I sell them immediately, giving you £1 per apple, or should I wait a day, or 2 days, or 3 days, or 4 days? When should I sell them? And the answer is you sell them when they're only worth 10p each. Why? Because there's a principle. Ha'adam roitze b'kav shelo mitisha kavim shel chavero. A person wants his portion more than 9 times that of his friend. Meaning, when these are your apples, you want your apples because they're yours. When you eat these apples, you get far more enjoyment eating your apples than someone else's. Why? Because you put the effort in. I had a brother-in-law who enjoyed making pickles, and he offered me the pickles. And when I tasted the pickles, in truth, I didn't think they tasted as nice as Mrs. Ellswood's pickles. But he really enjoyed his pickles. He loved his pickles. Why? Because he put his blood and sweat into those pickles. Yuck. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy the taste of them. He put so much effort into those pickles You could say, ironically, he saw himself in the pickles. Let's be clear. You are your efforts, meaning if you put your efforts into something, even if it's an inanimate object, you see yourself inside it. If you were to have two pictures, one picture which someone drew, another picture they just bought, and the one which they bought is definitely better quality. Nevertheless, you rip up both of them, the first one's going to hurt that much more than the second one. Why? Because I put my efforts into my picture. That means I see myself inside of that picture. If that works with an inanimate object, it works also to people. If you were to give to someone else, you are seeing yourself inside that other person because you are your efforts. You put your efforts inside the other person, and therefore you see that person as an extension of you. Now, why do you have to love your neighbor as yourself? Because if you don't love yourself and you're now investing in someone else, then all the negativity you don't like about yourself, you'll see that in the other person. That's what we call in the psychological world projection. All the negativity of myself I see in the other person. Why? And my efforts. I put my efforts in the other person. I see myself inside that person. Let's answer the questions. Why is it that giving causes love? Because when I put effort into another person, I'm putting myself in that other person. Why do I have to love my neighbor as myself? When you give to the other person, you're seeing yourself inside of them. In the words of Tesla, Ki ya'ahav ha'adam es prima asav. A person loves the fruit of their labors. B'hargishu asher cheluk min atzmusu behemhu. Because you feel like there's a portion of me in that effort. This is incredible. The act of love is an act of expansion. Seeing the other person is a portion of who I am. We are one. Just to end up in a funny story, my sister's friend was a teacher in a school, and she wanted to teach the class that you can love anything if you put your effort in. So she wanted to teach the class to love jelly. Jello for the Americans here. So how is she going to teach them to love jelly? Well, the last thing you're going to do if you love jelly is eat it. So they had to look after the jelly. They all made the jelly. They had to put the jelly to bed every night. They had to read it a bedtime story. They had to take it for walks and make sure to spend time with the jelly and record this. For 1 week, they cared and cuddled the jelly. After a week, the kids brought the jelly back to school. And one of the kids, Daniel, had the jelly on the plate. Wibble wobble, jelly on the plate. And as he was walking into the school, he dropped the jelly. No! Went all over the floor. And Daniel was beside himself. He was crying his eyes out. My jelly! My jelly! And the headmistress came along and said, what's wrong? My jelly! Okay, we'll get you another jelly. No, it's my jelly! It's like, okay, what's wrong with this kid over here? We'll get you another jelly. No, this is my jelly. Went over to the teacher and said, what's going on over here? I don't understand. I thought Daniel was normal. It's like, what happened? He dropped his jelly. He dropped his jelly? Yes, he dropped his jelly. What's wrong with dropping a jelly? We'll get him another jelly. No, it's his jelly. I can see that. Like, what's going on? No, he loves his jelly. Yeah, I can see he loves his jelly. No, he loves his jelly. And the headmistress had to be explained what was going on. Daniel loved his jelly. Why? Because he put his efforts into the jelly. He saw himself inside that jelly. If it works for inanimate objects, it works for people as well. You want to love someone? Give to them, and that will cause unification between the two of you. You'll see them as an extension of yourself because you are your efforts. Be great. Be a giver. See yourself in others. This podcast was proudly brought to you by Gift, where we're on a mission to inspire and enable lifelong giving. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to continue exploring the art of giving with us, please subscribe.